I've referenced the experiment chambers a couple of times before, but usually I'm talking about what they aren't. Today, I'd like to talk about what I think is actually going on with them. To re-establish my beliefs, I think that the Nightmare House scene in FNAF 4's title screen is a real place. This is because Michael has to be returning to a real home at the end of his shifts in sister location, and David's bedroom from Secret of the Mimic is clearly meant to be the real Nightmare bedroom from 4. Since Didophobia says the observation rooms are underground, which we can also see through these hallways in the breaker room map, I don't believe that they're observing real locations. Because of these factors, I believe the experiment chambers are recreating actual houses that the Afton family owns. I also believe that Garrett originally experienced nightmares as a part of his trauma. He's terrified of animatronics, and the series has implied he's experienced these horrors. Michael would experience similar nightmares after working at Freddy's, potentially because Garrett's ghost was haunting these places, but I'm not set on that. But if that's the case, then why are the experiments here? If I don't believe that the nightmares originate from the experiments, and I don't believe either Garrett or Michael were experimented on, then what purpose do they serve? According to Didophobia, the reason these experiments exist is to study the consequences of fear. That's interesting because William has been shown to have an interest in fear multiple times.
I can taste the fear in your breath. It is not your flesh that sustains me. It is your fear. Your fear will consume you. I love the smell of fear. The fear is palpable. Fear will destroy you.
Something about fear is incredibly important to William, and I don't think it's hard to see what that is. Garrett's entire story arc revolved around being terrified, but something odd happened to him when he died. From the week before in the survival logbook, we can figure out that Garrett's ghost somehow fused to Fredbear despite dying in the hospital. In Fazbear Frights, it's shown that extreme emotions like agony and consciousness can combine together to cause possession. When Garrett died, he was going ballistic. It was likely the scariest moment in his entire life. This would be dumping heaps of emotional energy into Fredbear, so when Garrett gets bit, his ghost would be able to anchor itself into the suit. We know the experiment chambers have to have something to do with Garrett to begin with, not only because of the obsession with fear, but also because of the 1983 code we punch into the observation cameras. Additionally, the minigame location is also being utilized for these experiments. If we know that Garrett was scared, that emotional energy is needed for possession, and that Garrett possessed Golden Freddy, then experiment chambers which recreate Garrett's fear is an experiment in causing possession. This would explain William's fascination with fear, and it would tie into his further experiments with the Scooper. William would know that possession is possible because of Charlotte, Garrett, and Elizabeth, but until he knows how to intentionally cause possession, he can't utilize the power of Remnant to his advantage. The experiments, then, are an explanation for his motivation. He wants to find a way to intentionally transfer people's souls into an immortal metal. Knowing that Garrett was able to possess Fredbear, William is recreating the terror of his life, trying to achieve the same result.